Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Want to bring you guys an article that I was looking at. I don't know how much charting we're going to get into today. Not a ton of action. You can kind of see the prices over there, guys. Some critical areas we have to hold. But this is what I wanted to bring to you. This is more of the long-term outlook, and this is by a billionaire, Tim Draper. And guys, he was buying Bitcoin at around $600. And what he's saying here is, I'm as certain as ever Bitcoin's revolution is only just beginning. And we're going to read just a little bit of this, but it goes on to basically, he talks about how he's comparing where we're at today with the internet in 1994, where people were thinking, in 94 that the internet was just for hackers and for, lost dreams and all different types of stuff like that. People didn't believe in it, and that's where we're at in terms of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency and all that type of stuff. So I just wanted to get into this with you, and if you guys could like, subscribe, all that. I find this very, very interesting here, and whenever I find articles, I want to bring them to you guys. So this is Tim Draper, and he said, I'm as certain as ever Bitcoin's revolution is only just the beginning. And guys, from my heart of hearts, that's where I feel as well. I feel like if anything, we got in almost too early, which you can't be too early, but we did. We got in very early, and we should be very thankful and blessed for that. And then it says, guys, it wasn't 10 years ago, but more like 15 when I saw the potential for a digital currency. I've been through some big ups and downs in Bitcoin, but today I'm more certain than ever that Bitcoin's revolution is coming. In 2004, I learned from a wealthy Korean industrialist that people were paying real world money for digital items like weapons to use in massively multiplayer video games. The game was Lineage, which was taken Seoul by storm. I'm sorry guys if I mispronounced that. It got me thinking that there was an amazing business in virtual goods coming. And guys, that's where I feel like too, like I feel like just because the internet is still so new, that these digital assets that are being built on it, we're just in the beginning, guys. We're just in the beginning, and some coins that will be successful, if you're able to hold them for a couple years, guys, it really could be life-changing. Just like people, there was a tweet that I actually wanted to do a video on where the guy was so upset that he sold Bitcoin, I think, for $8 when he bought it for $30, and I was doing the math that if he would have held on to them, during that whole time and up to that parabolic run. I mean, at one point they were worth over $30 million, I believe. So think of wanting to kick yourself in the butt for that, And then, guys, which that will be a good video to do. And then it says, right here, it says, I quickly absorbed the basics of Bitcoin, miners, wallets, and such. The decreasing number of Bitcoins available to be mined over time meant that the price of Bitcoin would increase in value as fewer Bitcoins were mined and usage increased. In fact, as Bitcoins spread and their usage increased, it was likely that the currency would become more valuable. And guys, that's a huge thing, that truly after all the Bitcoins that have already been mined and destroyed, on people's hard drives where they've been thrown away, all those things, because guys, they were pennies at the time. No one was really thinking about it. But in all reality, there's probably only 16, 17 million Bitcoins left. And, guys, you can call me crazy for this, but whether it's a sandwich, whether it's some type of a ball or something like that, guys, if there's only so many of them, the rich people in this world, the people who are billionaires and multimillionaires, they don't care what it is. It could be a crap sandwich, but if there's only 12 million of them or 16 million of them, they're going to want one, just for the simple fact that there's only so many of these. And that's not even including all the technological aspects of Bitcoin and the reasons why we're in here. The peer-to-peer, the Bitcoin is going to be that gold, which I truly believe, guys. And that's what it could be from 10 years from now. If you have one Bitcoin, which, guys, I still don't have one Bitcoin. I would love one Bitcoin, but I don't have it. But if you have one of these Bitcoins, guys, it could be worth $100,000. It could be worth $1 million. I mean, you think about it. 16 to 17 million people in this earth can have one Bitcoin. That's it. And think of all the guys, the Winklevoss twins and all them who've bought up so many. So you think about it, and Tim Draper and all this, you think about it and you go, oh my goodness, I need to get one of these. And that's my goal, guys. But I'll continue. I'm sorry about rambling, but I'm just telling you that the demand that is going to be for one Bitcoin, there's going to be people with 1 or 2 Bitcoins who are walking around like a stud in 5 to 10 years from now, because they have something that not many other people on this earth have. But we'll just skip down a little bit now, guys. It says around that time, I asked Peter if I could buy $200,000 worth of Bitcoin. He bought some for me at about $6 each and stored them in Mt. Gox, the largest Bitcoin exchange at the time. He said he would also buy a high-speed mining chip. for us to get even cheaper Bitcoin. Both of these efforts went south. First, the mining chip was delayed rather than shipping it to Peter as ordered. Butterfly Labs used the chip to mine Bitcoins for themselves. By the time Peter received the ASIC chip, mining had dramatically increased in difficulty. Meanwhile, the Bitcoin I had bought was lost by Mt. Gox, and everyone knows what happens with Mt. Gox. And then, guys, this is just talking about Bitcoin's resilience, how the price, can swing so high in these swing highs and go so low in the swing lows. And it said the market price then was $618 per Bitcoin. So think about how far it's even come since then, guys. And I do believe that Bitcoin was the best investment per percentage last year when it went from $700 all the way up to $20,000. And now back where we're at, even where we're at from that 700 to over 3,500, 3,600. It was the best investment that you could have made, even with it falling so far. And that's what people don't understand. Say you have a Litecoin or an Ethereum or something, and you're able to buy it at $100 and it goes to $100,000 and it pulls back to $5,000. People would be all concerned about the pullback, but you're thinking to yourself, guys, I just made a huge percentage gains. So that's where people's mindsets aren't there. They're making fun of Bitcoin in the fall and all those things, but you have to realize that it was still the best performing asset out there. That's how fast this market moves. So, guys, when it does make this next run, it's going to be something so special. And then it says Bitcoin's great potential. I remain impressed by the possibilities for Bitcoin and blockchain. Bitcoin is a currency that is accepted everywhere without any government friction or interference. That's the biggest thing for us, guys. A stored value solution that doesn't require a holder to keep a room full of metals and art, and a frictionless currency that can move automatically based on a contract without the usual drag that comes from regulations and accounting rules. Huge deal, guys. And then it says change is coming. Many industries will have to go through fundamental changes to adapt to the advent of this new way of thinking. People will have to learn that the bank, being the trusted third party for centuries, will soon be replaced by computers that now monitor their holdings through the blockchain. Remember, guys, you can't cheat on the blockchain. Banking will be simpler, safer, and easier than relying on people to do monotonous work in some brick and mortar facility. So that's a huge deal, guys. And then this is the internet part I want to say to you. So it says, the U.S. was wise to leave the internet unregulated and free because all the internet entrepreneurs created startups domestically, and the economy around the internet blossomed. Keeping its regulatory hands light should help innovators stay in the United States. There are many parallels between Bitcoin now and the internet in 1994. In 1994, the internet was just for hobbyists and hackers, right, guys? So that's what we're seeing now. I remember when I first used the internet, the only things I could do were to buy diamonds and try to break the NORAD. There were very few issues. It took many years for the internet to become mainstream, but when it did, it transformed industries. So guys, think how many people, back in the day were saying, oh, the internet's never going to work, this is crazy, home computers, they'll never take off, this and that. Same thing that we're learning with cryptocurrencies here. The long-term vision for Bitcoin is to give the world economic emancipation. The potential, if Bitcoin is only limited by the imaginations of the entrepreneurs who work to drive this new industry, this new virtual economy, to monitor and keep it honest, I believe that the community of users will ultimately self-regulate, possibly eclipsing the need for the various governments to regulate the crypto world. Sorry guys, I had to grab a sip of water there. I've been through the ups and the downs with Bitcoin, and I am certain as ever that Bitcoin's revolution is coming. It is here to bank the unbanked, to democratize economic opportunity, and to reevaluate governance. I expect that it will change everything from the banks and the financial system to healthcare to democracy, even the government. And guys, that's by Tim Draper. I'm sorry, I've still been dealing with this cold, so I'm having to take sips of water, different things like that. But I just want to get through this with you guys and just imagine that. What if you really are getting in on this stuff, like how people who got in on the internet in 1994? So keep your mind, thinking about these things, guys, and really put your study into basically projects that you feel as though are going to be successful in the future, ones that aren't going to fade out. There's going to be so many poop coins and everything else, but there's also going to be some great ones that will help change the future. So I want to bring this to you guys. If you could like, subscribe, all that, I really appreciate it. And let me know down in the comments what you think.